Hey guys, welcome to this episode. I have been asked to review Immersive First Person View. Now, long-time subscribers might remember that I reviewed a mod back in episode 64 called The Joy of Perspective. At least that's what it's called now. Back then it was in alpha, and it did the same thing as this mod back then, but nowhere near as good. That mod is now in beta, so it could have improved drastically. Its endorsements and downloads kinda suggest that, and I will check it out eventually. I will do a review of this beta version. But for this video, we're looking at the immersive first-person view. There's quite a lot of differences compared to the alpha of Joy Perspective to this, so let's go over it the only way I can, by actually showing you it. Of course, first off, I will go into the mod configuration menu and I will show you its options, because this does require SKSE and SkyUI, I believe 4.1. In the options you will see a ton of profiles which might confuse you at first. Don't let it, simply go on camera. You will have the options to set your hotkeys, in my case, numpad star to toggle the immersive view, and a flipped near or far view. I've been experimenting with that and I've not had no success figuring out what it is. I believe it's just how it toggles. Like if an item gets too close to the camera, which is in front of your eyes, that's how this mod works, just like how Joy Perspective works. Basically, if it's too close to your eyes, it won't draw the item. I believe that's what it does, basically. But I've been toggling it on, didn't see no difference. But that's not the main feature of the mod, it is the first person view. And you can see we've got auto near view in interior, which will switch to this. That's off by default, so that's how you should leave it. Now you'll see the profiles come into action now. We see Kill Mover's got profile 4, Vampire Lord Former's got default profile, the Werewolf has got default, Magic default, Mount default, Sneaking's got profile 3, Runner's got profile 2. You're probably thinking, what the hell are these profiles? Well, it's simply the mod author's way of trying to keep it all looking right and immersive. For example, in profile 1, you'll notice you have shitloads of settings such as the game FOV. Of course, default is 95. He's got it set on 85 for this profile, and debug scale. And of course, profile 1 is a default profile and is set to most things such as Werewolf, Magic, and Mount, etc. And you can go through the settings of changing these. As you can see, these are debug options. Do not use them really, because it will mess the game up. So don't use any of these debug scales at all. Keep your hands off them unless you want to experiment, of course. We've also got the camera back and forth modifier. It basically obviously moves the camera back or forward, however you like it, and you can do the same for up and down. And I believe there is a left and right setting. Yes, there is over here. So you can adjust the camera to where you want it. Default is fine in my opinion. We've also got the head bobbing and rotation settings. Now, for those that don't know, head bobbing is how the camera sways in first-person games. So think of Armour, so DayZ for example. You might not like that. Some people see it as a way to make them seasick. They get literally sick from this. So you can reduce this to whatever you like. Profile 2 it's set to 40 for example, and that is because in Profile 2 you are running. If you had that on 100, it would be chaotic, most probably. And we've also got other settings down here, such as the angle when you look to your side, near distance, fading duration of when you're switching profiles and the such. These aren't really important. We've also got disable head tracking. You've got to do that, really, unless you want your character to literally look at people when you're walking past them, because it does do it. I've tried it and it was crazy. And you can do your hotkey must be held down. Again, I don't see a point with that option on. Default is false anyway. We've also got other stuff here like disable HUD menus when you're in the first person view, even though again, that does make it more immersive, that is the point. But if you've got immersive HUD, iHUD, you might not really bother with that. And character turns where you look. This basically turns your character body, your model, around. You'll see in a second, when I'm moving the character around, when I'm moving the head around the view, the character's body stays still. But if you turn that on, your character body will move as if you've got a weapon in your hand. So I prefer it off, if I'm perfectly honest. And again, we've got near distance settings and such. And these will change per profile. As you can see, the modifier changes drastically on some. But for now, let's go into the game real quick. If you go in your normal first person view, it's the same, no difference. While Joy Perspective did it by default, don't know if it still does. But if I press my activation key from either third person or normal, Now you can see there's kind of a sway with the camera. Literally, as far as I can tell, it attaches a camera to your character's eyeballs, just like Joy Perspective did. So, wherever my character's head is moving, you can see the camera moving. Which I have to admit, in first person, it looks crazy. It's like, yes, this looks good now. It looks realistic. And of course, if you move your head around, there's still the same kind of sway there. You look down, you can see your character. Depends how you're standing, of course. It will depend on your character's stance. So that's why my character looks kind of like this. Because simply, that's my stance. That's my stance. I believe it's one of my mods. And if you walk, let's just walk for now, you can see a slight sway. Only slight. If I run, you can see a big camera shake. That is the head bobbing right there. So if you don't like that, you know, turn it down. If I sprint, it's even less. Because of course, you don't want crazy sprinting. Now if I go into my settings real quick, go back into the profile 2 for running, I believe. If I change that onto 100, just for testing purposes. Now if I run, look at that. That is bad. You don't want that. That is super increased head bobbing. That will obviously make you sick. It'll give you the motion sickness. You don't want that at all. So essentially you want to turn that down to, I mean, I can feel my eyes already going weird from that. Yours probably are as well. You really want to turn that down to like default or whatever you like it. If you have it on 0, I'll demonstrate next. It will literally have no shake, no bob, if you don't like bobbing at all. Now also if we look at profiles, for example, like I said, head tracking. I will turn this off and show you what it's like with it off. Like I said, it's not that great. You won't like it. You see when I run now, it's smooth. You see that? I looked at Heimska's dead corpse. Well, his corpse is going to be dead. A corpse is dead. You know what I mean. Your character will look at literally everything. If I go near a guard, let's have a quick walk. Let's go past this guard. Look over here. See?
Wait. I know you.
It tracks onto the guard. That's why this is off by default. You can leave it on if you so wish.
Lady, could you spare a coin?
No, I can't. Get away.
Looking for my husband Nazim. Check the yard.
But if you keep it on, you're not going to have the best of times. You will literally be looking left, right, all the goddamn time at any object the head tracking locks onto. Like, see if we can track onto one of these real quick. There you go, you see? And if you're trying to look at stuff, it really makes the camera feel weird. It's also almost like mouse acceleration. You don't want it on. Put it that way. So that is why the author turns it off. Unless you are so immersive, you like it on. But I don't see anyone would keep that on. I won't keep it on. I don't think anyone would want to. So turn that bitch off. Now the next thing you're probably thinking about is weapons. How do weapons look? How does combat look in this first person view? Of course, you can toggle it on and off. I'm using a bow right now. The bow's profile does change. It has got its own profile. It actually, from what I read on the mod page, it does actually, as soon as you draw your bow to fire, it will kind of bring the FOV back so you can see more of your weapon, because as you can see, you can't literally see anything. So if I do this, and there we go, and apparently the aiming is not as precise right now on the crosshair. It's not 100% correct, but you know, it looks good. But the one thing I like about this, when in immersive mode, let's for example choose a greatsword, a broadsword, right? You can see the characters there. If I block, you can see, of course you do get a bit of clipping, it's inevitable. Again, that's the near distance. If I toggle that on, there you go, that's an example of the near distance. If I put it on normal, let's see, put it on normal, you can see bad clipping. If you toggle the near distance option, there you go. Simple. It fixes those dreadful problems. So that's what the mod is for. Finally, I found out what it was for. But you can see your greatsword, how your character is holding it. But one thing I noticed, which I totally loved, if you remember a few episodes back, I actually showed you guys a mod which is called kick animations. If I block, I can kick. I can do a kind of like, someone corrected me the other day and called that what it was. I'm just going to call it a half roundhouse, whatever. You know, in the normal first person view, you don't even see these animations. See? You don't see them. Which does suck really, because they are awesome. If I go into my immersive first person view, let's do the kick. Can you see the kick? The kick actually shows now. And what's even better, if you do that, do the side roundhouse thingy, the camera follows you. It literally follows the character's eyes no matter where it goes. And you can even do backflips with this mod. So if I do that, you actually see that. That's how awesome it is. So let's go. Backflip! Yes! That's one of the bonuses of this mod that I totally, absolutely love, because I am keeping Kickbash for my Let's Play, and I thought, well then, if it works for this, I want immersive first-person view as default in my my Let's Play, assuming I get used to the head bob, because it can be kind of crazy sometimes. But I have got a weapon out right now, so that's why it's like this. But even when you're attacking, you'll notice your character moves. Your head, the camera moves with the head sway. So if I go left with the great sword, right with the great sword, if it would go right, there we go. Or if I do a power attack, it literally follows the camera's movement. If normally all you see is your weapon moving in front of you, like your head's stabilised, but now you will actually follow your character's eyes, as said before. So it's definitely immersive. You can't say it's not. It's totally immersive, 100% immersive. But immersive is not always better. Some people are going to hate this. I mean, that can be distracting. Depends on the person. I've got a single sword out right now. And as you can see, doing the kickbash animations again. Or if I do a backflip off this ledge, see what happens with this view. I didn't go off the ledge, it kind of glitched, but you know, it works for what it works for. I'm in two minds about the actual first-person combat view. It looks totally realistic, sure, but I'm not sure if I could get used to that. I'm using my fists, of course, right now. So let's, well, I'm actually blocking right now with my fists, but I don't know what's happening. Let's come out of the first person view. Yeah, it's trying to attack. It's just doing a constant power attack. How do you, I can't remember how to block no more. If you can block with your fists. I think you've got to use that block mod. I've got it installed. But you can see the fists look alright. Of course you've got to put near distance on so you don't clip as so. But again, I'm glad it's toggable. Because if you like the normal view like this, for example, that's how it's going to be. Again, if I get like a Dawnbreaker out, I use a sword. Of course, this is our usual view. The head doesn't move, while the model actually does move. Turn immersive on, and here we go. It's all crazy. So it's all up to you whether you use it in combat or if you just use it while walking around towns. I think I'd use it simply for towns. I'd adjust the mod itself and use it for towns only, because that's the way I like it. Just for towns walking around. In combat, it would be too much of a distraction for me at least. But as for just, you know, in between, I think it's perfectly suited. Now, of course, being the fact that I do in-depth reviews, I've got to show you simply everything this mod can do. That includes Vampire Lord form, Werewolf form, sneaking, and of course, mounted on a horse. I've got to show you everything because that's how I operate, and as you can tell, this review is fairly in-depth already. I'm telling you my honest opinions. I'm not bullshitting, I never do. If I don't like something, I tell you. If I do like something, I will definitely tell you with an awesome, as I always do. Anyway, I'm about to transform into a werewolf. I've seen this before and it looks quite awesome. I'm going to keep inside the first person view for this transformation, because it should follow the character's eyes, and as you can see it does. Now, I'm guessing the reason it went inside of the skull is simply because, well, the camera normally goes inside the mouth of the werewolf, as you can see. That's the mouth of the werewolf. So your camera is inside, you're inside the mouth now, not the eyeballs, so to speak. If I come out of it, werewolf, go back into it. You see, that's better. That's what happened. I was about to say, that glitch you just saw around the mouth of the werewolf, that wasn't there before when I tried the werewolf form out. It was there this time because I transformed during first person view, which I thought looked pretty cool though. I had to try it in that view. But as you can see, we've got the same head bob, which actually looks kind of alright for a werewolf because it matches the movements of sprint. If I go into a sprint, for example, that looks even better. AKA this, as you're used to. Let's have a look. That. The nice werewolf vault. Do it again. You can see the camera follows. You can see the bobbing of the camera. It looks seriously epic. And of course you want near distance on again, so you don't clip through the floor. And as you can see, it's not clipping through the floor or anything. It looks perfect. And you can see your claws coming through. Let's try and get an animation, kill move. Because of course kill moves do work in the mod. Let me try and operate one on someone. Right, she can be killed. There you go. I'm doing one right now. And as you can see, it looks alright. It's not the best of kill moves when you're in a werewolf form, but it's suitable. But yeah, I do like the fact that I can see through the mouth again. That's weird. Hopefully that can be fixed properly, because I do like how you can see out the werewolf's mouth. That is kind of sick. It just needs to be fixed, because there's a few glitches here and there like that. But I believe that, again, that's because of the kill move. If I go back in and out, it's fixed again. But that is the werewolf's vision for you, at least. And I think it's pretty much alright. And of course, next up has to be the Vampire Lord transformation. And I've tested this in first person view, and it transforms perfectly well. So let me show you it. Yes! Now we're a female, beastly Vampire Lord, and you can see the first person view works perfectly. Let's go back out into third so I can show you it again, and go back here. It works perfectly, and it looks pretty goddamn cool. And of course, all the attacks work, and everything else, if I'm not being attacked, that is. Let's actually use an attack. I've not actually played a Vampire Lord. I've tried it out before, but I've not played a Vampire Lord yet. So, got to be testing this out. This view is weird. It does feel really weird in first person view with Vampire Lord, if I'm honest. Let me go in third person so I can realise what attacks I've got. Right, I've got a fire kind of fucking spell, blood spell, and some other spell. I've seriously not played as a vampire long enough to actually play as this. Right, we've got our sprint, which is obviously... Yep. I played as a Vampire Lord briefly when it first came out, the DLC to try it out, but I didn't play as the powers. So let's try one of these. Yep, the aiming is extremely weird in this view, because the camera does literally shake. Just before you release the power, the camera shakes. So it's hard, it kind of shakes up. So you're going to have to compensate for that if you're playing in this view. It is really hard to hit anything right now. At least for me it is. I've got to kind of aim down to hit people. See, I still can't hit people. So if I aim at the floor and then release, now it's high enough. Let's try the Vampire Lord Sprint. Yep, I think that works perfectly fine. Feels fine. Can't see no problems. Can see the wings. That's a clipping issue there. I'm going to turn no clip on. Aha, I believe no clip was already turned on. So near mode is already turned on, so you need near mode on. Otherwise you can see nastiness. So you will see a bit of clipping if you look directly up. That's your skull, I believe. Looks like it to me. So again, it's not perfect, but again, this mod isn't finished yet. If you don't look too far up, you can see your wings flapping, your little weak little wings. So it looks decent. Yeah, I'd say it looks decent. The beast forms need a bit of work, but they do seem to be coming along pretty well. It's much better than Joy Perspective last time I checked it out. And here is a quick example of the sneak camera. Again, there's not much changes in this department. Just a little bit of a head bob, which of course you can disable as always. There we go. You can see your character in whatever pose you've got. And I'll also mention something I forgot. When you turn nowhere to the right, if you notice I can't go no further. It stops there. Because of course it's tracking the head. The head can't go all the way around. So it doesn't move. That's why you can turn that feature on, where your body moves with your head, basically, like you've got a weapon out. So you can do a full 360 turn if you want, but you don't really need to if you just turn like that. But yeah, this is how it looks when you're sneaking. Slow sneak and fast sneak. See, looks pretty much normal. You can see there's a slight tilt to the camera. We aren't looking straight on. There is a slight rotation to the camera, which looks natural because the character's head does technically turn. And I'm just going to show you the near feature yet again. If I go to this pole, you can see there's no clipping. If I turn the near feature off, that looks nasty. Turn near on, and we're good. So, get away from me.
Like that?
Now that I've caught to my steed, let's grab on this guy. There you go. With near on, there's like no clipping whatsoever. I can see my character. What is going on? What is going on? I can see my character. Ow. That's not too bad, I don't think. Nah, it's not too bad. I'm just experimenting right now. I'm turning the near view on and off, trying to create some kind of glitch. That is my job as a reviewer. I've got to try and break this mod if I can, and I can't see no problems there. Not bad. Let's do a slow walk right now. That seems fine. That's a realistic head bob. I actually like when you look behind. I can't look behind right now because I'm moving, so I can't see my character's face no more. But that is nice how your head moves and the horse moves. But there you go. That's a clip. Turn it on. There we go. You see, that looks kind of cool. Like you can see your character's face, but you basically know now where your camera is in relation to your character's eyes. I think I might have found a glitch there. That's good, because that means the author can possibly fix that if it's a glitch. Let's do a slow gallop. That actually looks dirty in a way. I'm having sexual thoughts right now, I shouldn't be having them. Anyway, let's swiftly move on. Yeah, the gallop looks fine. The head moves and the horse moves just a split second after, so it looks realistic. Now it's going to a full speed gallop of Barrett. Yeah. Nasty. Yeah, it's working. It's working fine, and it looks realistic. I like this. I like it a lot. I do. I just need a stiff horse now for my character. Yeah, this looks beast. I love it. I have to admit, the author's done a superb job on the horse. This is excellent. And it feels immersive. I'm not feeling sick, and it looks pretty damn cool. Now, let's move on to some spells. And it's a wonderful day here at Bard's Leap Summit. Yes, I've come to this beautiful, well-known spot in Skyrim right before testing the magic out because I want to actually test out the falling view, especially going into water. So here we go. That's a jump. Oh yes, this looks good. Anyway, if you're interested in the magic and how it looks, I've got a few spells to show you. Right here we've got Major Light Sparks, the Master Level Lightning Storm, because of my animation mods I've got installed. And by the way, that is YY Anim Mystic Knight. So before you ask, because I know you guys always do, there's always someone new who asks that. So basically, there you go. Let's try out one of the Star Wars spells real quick, which is Force Lightning. Do it one hand. This is in the view, of course. Two hand, or double. There you go. I see nothing wrong with that. Looks quite good to me, if I say so myself. Let's go into Major Light, because I'm actually want to see what it looks like above the head. Let's dual cast this. There you go. You can see the character's hands. Again, everything looks fine. Let me try and turn clipping on and off. Nope, no difference. There we go. And there, the Major Light. Let's place it right here so it goes above us. And it's not going above us. I'm thinking of a spell which puts the Major Light above your head. I think there's a spell like that. I can't remember what it's called. Forget that one anyway. Let's go. You don't want to see simple sparks. That's just crappy sparks, really. Let's go on to a master level spell. Lightning Storm. Why a master level spell? Well, quite simply because I've got my animation mods installed, so I do stuff like this. Levitate. And then we've got the nice spell, because I do like this spell. It's one of my favourites. It's like, reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, as it would do. So let's go in first person view and let's see what it looks like. Levitation looks kind of sweet. And then we blast it out of our hands. It looks, yeah, it's fine to me. You wouldn't take your own legs out normally, but there you go. And I'd say all these spells look pretty much fine. They all look perfect in first person. I like them a lot. And that is it for this in-depth review. As always, I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. And if you like the mod, of course, go and check it out on the Nexus and leave it an endorsement to show your support. And hopefully I might have found a few little problems that are not supposed to be in this video that I haven't noticed that the author has. Anyway, let's go in some water, as I promised, right at the end, to see how it looks in first person when you're floating under the water. Yeah, this mod has satisfied me to great lengths. I'm glad I was asked to review this by a subscriber because I love it. You can even see yourself floating backwards. As always, guys, thanks for watching.